Hi and welcome, this is Kathleen from Sunny Mountain Patterns. I'm going to show you a top-down view of a projected pattern. Here you can see I can turn on and off layers. This is before making the projector full screen, by the way. So hopefully you can tell that I turned off on the 6T and turn on the notes. I should be making it expanded eventually. There we go. So I've expanded out, zoomed out. Now I've made this full screen, which is what's recommended in the Facebook group for projectors for sewing. And I'm just futzing around with it, trying to make it more visible on the camera. This is real time. I haven't sped this up at all. So we have to change the zoom. Oh, there we go. I have to make sure the camera zooms out. So I have to change the zoom. So you can see where it says fit to page. I'm going to change it to my zoom, which was how I calibrated that. It's going to be different for everybody depending on how far away it is and everything. But you can see I already add in a handy calibration grid in the upper left-hand corner because that's what Adobe automatically sets it to when you zoom in. So you can just double, triple check, and then you move it around until you see the beginning of the pattern, which I have tried to give a little bit of space. There's my mouse. Hi, mouse. Never mind the one on the right. That was my drafting. The final one will not have the one on the right, but then you can scroll down, or you can use the arrow keys or a pen by grabbing and moving. I mirror things. So these are all things that are cut unfold, but it's mirrored. So I have the center line in, so you can cut unfold if you want to, or you can just unfold it and I have it grouped by individual pieces. I have all of these lined up now, so you should just be able to scroll up and down. And those little extra ones on the right will not exist, so never mind about those. I also include, for some of these, 2-inch squares. I forgot for some of them, sorry. Yeah, there's me demoing it. But then I forgot for some of them, so not all of them have it. I also try to make sure all of the grain lines are aligned. You can pan around. There should be plenty of room to pan around in the whole section. So here is actually a comparison of, I believe this is an A0. You can see how thin the lines are and they're all put together. But when I make this full size, eventually, I will be doing that. Oh, I see. I moved it over so I could show you the layers. All of these should have layers, even the tiled PDF. So you can change, see, it's very clear here. You can see the 6T, the 4T is unclicked, so these should all go away. You should only have the ones that are available. Boy, I did a lot of features. There's a black layer so that it contrasts if you have dark fabric. For example, I've heard that this really helps because it negative affects the lines. But again, this is, I believe, an A0, so it's not going to be as helpful just because the lines are going to be thin anyway. So this is what it looks like with the black layer on, which on the camera it doesn't look great because that's that weird reflection. It will not show up. The blue, red, and green from the top and bottom will not show up when you're actually looking at it. It's just because how the camera's picking it up. You can see when I'm panning around, there's not a lot of margin here. So if you go to the Facebook group, which is the Projectors for Sewing, there's a PDF Stitcher, which is a free program that will allow you to put on margins. Now here is the tiled version. This is what it looks like when you make it the proper zoom for the PDF. So it's the same zoom as the A0 or the projector ready files. You can see how incredibly tiny it is, and it only shows you that one page. So this is why PDFs alone as they are, the ones that are printable, are unsuitable for projecting. They're also incredibly thin. They're not often having aligned grain lines. They're set up to be the most preservative of paper. So they're space saving rather than concerned about having it so it's easy to cut out for you, because you're gonna have to cut out the pieces anyway for the pattern. But if it's a projector, you don't have to. So that's just switching between these. I think I've gone back to the projector file just based off of the alignment and how it is. Again, ignore those little guys to the right. That was on accident. Wow, I did a lot here. But pretty much that's the difference between the 3 different types. So I went from projector to A0 to the printable tiled version. to show what it looks like when it's actually projected. So I'm actually using ultra short throw and using my mouse to pan around. So I have my laptop connected to the ultra short throw, which is nice because I don't have to have a lot of space. It just sits on the table that I have adjacent to my cutting table, and then I can hook up my laptop without a really super long HDMI cord. But you can see how these are very nice and thick, and they're dark. And then if you put the black layer on, it should be able to contrast it into a lighter color, so you can see it on dark fabric. So I've tried to consider that since I use this too myself. But, oh, there's the end of the pattern. I try to label that too, so it's easy for you to tell when you're done. So again, this is from Sunny Mountain Patterns. Is the difference between all of the different styles of printables you can have. Thank you.